Minister who insisted that generation of electricity is meeting demand across the country, although many parts are still in darkness. This afternoon, Health Minister is facing legal action as Lightwave e-healthcare solutions drags him before the Accra High Court over alleged false remarks made against the company, demanding a retraction and an apology. We have details as the company also seeks compensation, claiming the minister's comments have strained its relationship with key development partners. And South African xenophobic protests against foreign nationals enters day 2 as the minority makes strong demands to the government, including an immediate high-level presidential engagement to avert further escalation.
John Dramani Mahama and President Cyril Ramaphosa, I know that they are going to speak very shortly about this issue. I know that they are working behind the scenes to ensure that they come up with a statement together.
We have details of an assurance from Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa and tell you how to stay safe if you're a Ghanaian in South Africa. We're Joy News, we're independent, we're fearless, and we're credible. Please stay for details. Many thanks for joining us on the news this afternoon. Health Minister Kwabena Mensah Akando has been dragged before the Accra High Court by Lightwave e-healthcare solutions, which is demanding a retraction, an apology, and compensation over what it describes as unsavory remarks made against the company. Now, the suit against or accuses the minister of making false and damaging public statements about the company's operation and its contracts with the health ministry. Now, the company is, among other reliefs, asking the court to order a public retraction, an apology, award damages of economic losses, and grant any additional relief it's deemed appropriate. And my colleague Fatal Bayaga joins me via Zoom for more on this. Fatal, what more do we know about this writ?
That the health minister made several public comments between October and November 2025, which it describes as false and damaging. Among the claims cited in the suits are allegations that the company misrepresented the number of health facilities it had implemented, overbilled the government, and hosted Ghana's electronic medical records outside the country. Lightwave strongly disputes these claims, including assertions that it received $11 million in 2024 while delivering only a fraction of the contracted facilities. Emefa, so according to the rates, the minister's comments were broadcast across multiple media platforms, including a television interview, and have since caused significant reputational damage, both locally and internationally, for the company.
Well, Fatal, so the company definitely is asking that they get some reliefs. It says that it has suffered some financial losses. Tell me more.
Emefa, so basically the company argues that the minister's remarks contributed to the suspension of a proposed $50 million partnership with the World Bank. The rate issued on March 25, 2026, then further demands that the defendants, that's the health minister here, enter an appearance within 8 days of being served or risk judgment outside of the default date.
Well, Fatal, so before you go, we understand the court has granted an application for substituted service. What's behind that?
Yeah, so Emefa, the court granted the application after lawyers for the company indicated that the several attempts, or they have tried several attempts to serve the minister, and all of these attempts were unsuccessful. Under the court's directive, Emefa, the writ of summons and statement of claim are to be served by posting copies on the notice board of the High Court's general jurisdiction in Accra, and also delivering copies of this particular summons to the clerk of parliament, and also copies should be published online just to draw their attention. of the health minister.
I see. All right. Thank you. We definitely will be following this, Fatal. But thank you for bringing that to our attention. Let's take you to matters arising in South Africa. The xenophobic protest in South Africa against foreign nationals has entered day 2, and the minority in Ghana's parliament are making some demands from both governments to avert a possible escalation of the situation. The recent attacks in the past days have resulted in violent attacks and forceful closure of shops of foreign citizens have sparked viral condemnation now from government and regional bodies. First, listen to the chairman of the National Development Planning and a long-term UN diplomat in South Africa, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, explain why more immigrants turn to go to South Africa despite the situation.
It's a generalized violence, which has now been directed towards immigrants, whether they're legal or not. And that is partly driven by this disproportionate sense of self-importance, that there's something so unique about South Africa that everybody wants to go there and they don't want them there. They are taking their jobs and so forth. But the numbers actually don't support that. As I told you before we went on air, there's such a skills shortage in South Africa that the government, the Department of Higher Education and Training, actually publishes a list of scarce skills every 2 years and calls on people from around the world to apply to fill these positions. They range from regular trades, carpentry, masonry, all the way to IT, banking, and so forth. They simply don't have the skills to fill that. Now, why is the case? You need to look at the profile of education in South Africa, where the whites, of course, are the most educated socioeconomic group, about 28% of them. Blacks have just around 5%, even though blacks make up the majority, over 80%. 5% of them have college degrees, because they started from a low base. I remember I've been in South Africa both times when they had their census, so I followed the numbers a little bit. I think the first one was, I think it went up from 1% to 3%, and then it's gone up to 5%, because they started from a low base, so to speak. But the facts are what they are, 80%. And if you look at the structure of the education and training sector, blacks being in the majority also tend to have high dropout rates and low completion rates. And when they do graduate, the quality also tends to be low and doesn't qualify them for the labor market, besides the fact that those who qualify are also leaving.
Well, this must even be more serious than you think. And so let's get more on this. And head of research here at Joy News, Isaac Akufo-Addo, joins me in studio to get more. Historically, let's understand how serious xenophobic attacks have been in the past. Let me understand. I see some numbers. I hope these are not numbers of human lives or just attacks particularly?
Well, definitely, if you see attacks, you should know that there will be human lives involved. Unfortunately, we'll bring you that shortly. But what you see on the smart wall is the total number of xenophobic incidents since 1994 to December 12, 2025. So this is from the XenoWatch that we got this data from. And in fact, we are counting 1,295 xenophobic attacks since this period or within this period. And in terms of total displacement as a result of these attacks, close to about 1,290,000 people have been displaced as a result of this xenophobic attacks. In terms of what you don't want to see, right, which is the total number of deaths involved, if you're looking at the number of shops looted anyway is around 5,648 as a result of the attacks. And unfortunately, 696 minimum have lost their lives as a result of this incident. And it includes different nationals. With the figure you see, there are almost about 700 lives in there. But this is where it gets tricky. And I agree with Nimoy Thompson, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, when he spoke about the situation in South Africa. What is the data actually telling us? If you look at South Africa's, immigration population, as far as that is concerned, you're comparing that to their population and you ask yourself, should this actually be a problem? Documented migrant, this we have to put across, currently accounts for a little around 4% of South Africa's population. So 2.4 million people are immigrants in South Africa, and that includes Ghanaians, Nigerians, Chinese, different nationals in South Africa. But that's about 4% of their population. So if your population is 100% and foreigners are about 4%, the question people are asking is, why should you have a problem? How can 4% take the jobs of about 60% or 70%, or possibly about 40% if you're looking at on the tangent of labor force? But this is where, I mean, it gets interesting if we could go to the next slide, where now we begin to talk about the unemployment rate situation in South Africa.
Okay.
Just take a look at it. What you see is that the fourth quarter of last year, the unemployment situation in South Africa actually improved. So why are we having xenophobic attacks this year? Because, in fact, their unemployment rate is one of the highest in Africa.
Yeah.
31.9%. And you had Dr. Nimoy Thompson making a big point that there is a significant skill gap in South Africa. That's why you are seeing these outlier numbers in terms of unemployment rate in South Africa. Because you're comparing this to Ghana's unemployment rate of about 14 to 13%. You could see that this is it's about twice what we are recording in Ghana, and possibly why we have a lot of agitation in the country.
Isn't that a fair representation, because the size of South Africa generally is large?
Exactly, but in terms of labor force, you're comparing employment rate. So labor force, definitely, even whether your country has a bigger population or not, 31.9% or 39.4% unemployment rate Emefa is very significant. And if you are looking at the actual number of people who are unemployed in South Africa, it's about 8 million people who are unemployed. These are South Africans who are unemployed and are looking for jobs. But this is what possibly is causing the situation, because you have about 3 out of every 10 South Africans you actually sample to be able to qualify for a job, not getting job at the moment. And so that, for me, I think is one of the main reasons why. But another significant point is the skill gap, currently existing in South Africa.
Okay, it's nice that we're able to put some meaning to the actions, so that we don't think that xenophobic attacks just, happen in the vacuum. Kofi, thank you. However, the minority back here in Ghana are making some demands on both governments, that would be the Ghanaian government and the South African government. And my colleague James Aveji joins me with details of that. James, what are the demands?
So, Emefa, those demands are to both the Ghanaian and the South African government. Let's start from South Africa, where the incident is happening. The minority said, with immediate effect, there must be a swift arrest of the perpetrators of these incidents that have been recorded and reported. They also want the president of South Africa to outline, or the South African government to outline measures they are adopting in order to protect foreign nationals in their country in the face of what is happening on the streets of South Africa. As far as they are concerned, in terms of Ghana, President John Mahama must be put on the phone immediately to have a conversation with his counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa. And in that conversation, the president must demand concrete steps from his counterpart on how he's dealing with the situation. Not only that, the government of Ghana must also demand compensation from the South African government for all Ghanaians who have been caught in this crossfire in the last few days. Their final demand from the Ghanaian government is that, although they acknowledge the role the foreign minister Akufo-Addo Ablakwa has played in the last few days, they really want the consular assistance to Ghanaians in South Africa to be escalated to the next level, so that those of them who find themselves wanting will have measures to protect them and get them home if the need be.
Right, thank you so much. James, bringing us details of that statement by the minority. Now, Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, His Excellency, has told Evans Mensah on PM Express last night that steps are already initiated for a high-level conversation between John Mahama and Cyril Ramaphosa on the matter.
I'm sure it's about happening is the two presidents, President John Dramani Mahama and President Cyril Ramaphosa. I know that they are going to speak very shortly about this issue. I know that they are working behind the scenes to ensure that they come up with a statement together. I am aware that the Minister of Foreign Affairs has initiated that conversation between the two heads of state. I believe that with the kind of pressure that we're mounting on them, I'm told by other ambassadors, especially the Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps, that over the years, the pressure that is being exerted on the government of South Africa during this short period of time with their xenophobic attack, if that was done over the years, he's sure that would not have been here. Everybody's talking. Every country is issuing a statement. Every country is asking that their Ministry of Foreign Affairs gives us answers. We are asking that their law enforcement agencies give us answers.
Well, he also says Ghana's consulate in South Africa has put some temporary measures in place to keep Ghanaians safe.
Coming here, we always advise you to be very careful, to look around your surroundings, to take precaution, right from the airport through to your hotel. We've had instances where people are followed from the airport to their hotels, they are robbed and all of that. We ask that caution is taken. I believe that we should reinforce that caution to everybody that wants to travel to South Africa. And there are certain areas that we continually advise our people not to travel and go to those places. For example, going to Soweto, going to Alexandria, going to Tembisa, going to those areas are areas that we believe are high-risk areas. We don't advise our people to go there. Those that are staying there, we've asked them to move from there during this period. And anybody that is traveling from Ghana to South Africa would encourage them also to liaise with the High Commission. We have a 24-hour line that provides guidance.
Please mention the number. Please mention the number. And you also said earlier that there's a site where you can register your name and your details when you land. I want you to go through that for us, the number and that site.
So the number is a South African number. It's +27 72 652 7353.
So you know the
website is our High Commission website. When you go onto the website, www.pretoriamission. When you go on that website, the link to register that is on our official website, it's there so that you can be able to register as a Ghanaian who is coming in or a Ghanaian who is already here in South Africa and will always keep track of you.
Well, security consultant Dr. Victor Doke believes there should be tougher regional sanctions on South Africa to address the situation.
You would expect that you have key figures in the AU, not only AU, but let's look at how sub-regional bodies, all of those sub-regional bodies will come together as one, because we are talking about what? The Pan-Africanism, the spirit behind it, the unity, right? After all, Ubuntu and all of that. We need to show that solidarity, that force. So it wouldn't be just one organization coming in. Now, if we are able to do this, then the South African authorities, okay, the political elite will see the seriousness of, various organizations and then the citizenry at large.
Will it be too extreme, considering how tourism is such a big part of the South African economy? Will it be too extreme to consider a travel ban that is backed by AU, for example, do not travel to South Africa?
If the situation persists, that is an option. If the situation persists, that is an option. Then now you can talk about linking it to SADC, the South African
economic community. Yes.
They also have to come in, issue some sort of sanctions.
This afternoon, President John Mahama praised for a miracle as VRA engineers race against time to restore the two remaining control units at the Akosombo Switchyard damaged to last week's fire. The damage has weakened the power distribution system, leaving many areas in darkness and disrupting daily life and business activity. The president is at the site inspecting progress as efforts continue to restore full capacity. Engineers late Tuesday brought a fourth unit back online, but nearly 48 hours later, the last two remaining outstanding. Maxwell Agbagba is with the president and joins us with more on the phone. Maxwell, give me an update. Earlier, we tried to catch the president do the tour. We're not lucky with the network, but what do you observe at the scene of the damaged switchyard? Have I lost Maxwell? We'll try and reconnect with Maxwell as we speak. The president is still on site touring, and as you can also hear us say, praying and wishing that full capacity is restored. If I have Maxwell, I hear you now. Okay, well, if we don't get Maxwell, we shall bring you that story a bit later in our subsequent bulletins. But the Ghana Gold Board says its strong 2025 performance is only the beginning of a broader reform agenda for Ghana's gold sector. After posting an operational surplus of more than 900 million Ghana cedis, Gold Board says it is now focused on strengthening anti-smuggling controls, deepening regulations, expanding gold aggregation, and improving exports coordinations. And Director of Communications for Gold Board, Prince Menka, explains what's next after the board's impressive first-year results.
It's quite instructive. The audited financials that we've published on our website. One thing that is instructive to note of is that despite Gold Board's revenue growing exponentially from 307.7 million Ghana cedis as of 2024 to 970.8 million Ghana cedis in 2025, expenditure, very key, expenditure has declined from the 129.7 million Ghana cedis in 2024 to 109.4 million Ghana cedis in 2025. This only goes to showcase the fiscal prudence that leadership has taken up upon itself to as it were, showcase over here. Now, the that reduction in expenditure was in spite of substantial expansion of the staff strength, and also the expanded mandate of the Gold Board as compared to the defunct PMMC. For instance, very important, whereas the defunct PMMC had a total workforce of 114 in 2024, the Gold Board maintained a total workforce of 450 in the year 2025, which is the year under the financial statement, the year under review as far as the financial statement is concerned. But yet, we managed to keep expenditure at relatively lower levels through what I've already stated, or what my CEO will call fiscal prudence. And that falls in line with the vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the vision of our parent ministry, the finance ministry, led by the Honorable Akosua. So fiscal prudence is the key words here, is what we are realizing here. And this has culminated to delivering a total operational non-tax surplus of 909.7 million Ghana cedis. So this is a feather in the cap of the CEO and management of the Ghana Gold Board.
Well, traditional leaders in the Eastern Nzema traditional area have backed the government's decision to revoke the mining license of Adamus Resources Limited, describing it as long overdue. Now, the chiefs have gone further, performing traditional rites to symbolically reject the company from their lands. And joining us is Ina Thalia Konsa, report from Atwabo.
Clad in black clothes with red bands wrapped around their heads and wrists, they gathered at the Agyeman-Rawlings Royal Palace in Atwabo, invoking their ancestors in a moment of reflection and resolve. For years, they say their lands have suffered. Now, relief. In a powerful cultural display, traditional leaders performed customary rites, including the slaughtering of a ram and the pouring of libation, to symbolically ban Adamus Resources Limited from all Eastern Nzema lands. The ritual, steeped in tradition, represents both mourning for degraded lands, and a spiritual declaration against the company's return. His Royal Majesty Awolai Blay says the revocation marks the end of years of destruction.
Today, I stand here to say clearly, elephant has been removed from our bowl of rice, and our nightmare is over. I think one of the things that we need to emphasize is that we don't oppose mining, we don't oppose development, but what we oppose is the destruction of our ancestral land. We will not sit down for our ancestral land to be destroyed. We give a good concession to animals to mine so that the young people of Elemle get work to do. But what did they pay us for? They temporarily gave our concession out as a safe haven for Chinese people to come and destroy our land, to destroy our river bodies, and to destroy our livelihood, which the Minerals Commission, through the sector minister and the president, has revoked the alliances. So we are here to say very big thank you to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for revoking the alliances of Adamos Resources Limited.
A decision taken by government and the President John Dramani Mahama and Lands Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa follows findings of multiple regulatory breaches, including legal subcontracting, environmental damage, and operating without valid permits. The Traditional Council is now calling for environmental restoration and possible prosecution of those found culpable. The chief are drawing a firm line.
We want to tell the president that he shouldn't be bothered by any pressure or any legal threat or anything to reinstate Adamos mineral resources, their lances. And even if the government decides to reinstate their lances, we the landowners, we are not going to allow it. Today we are going to slaughter a sheep and pour libation as a sign that we don't want to have anything to do with Adamos again, and to clean this mess and to clean this curse upon us, because Adamos is a useless company. We don't want to have anything to do with them again.
As discussions begins on the future of mining in the area, the focus remains on restoring degraded lands and ensuring responsible investment. For the people of Nzima East, the rites performed are more than symbolic. They are a declaration that the land must be protected. In Athalia Kwanzaa, Joy News, Atuabo.
And I'll take you back to our earlier story on how President John Mahama has been praying for a miracle as VRA engineers race against time to restore the 2 remaining control units at the Akosombo Switchyard that damaged last week's fire. The damage has weakened the power distribution system, leaving many areas in darkness and disrupting daily life, the business activities as well. The president is at the site inspecting progress as efforts continue to restore full capacity, and engineers late Tuesday brought a 4th unit back online, but nearly 48 hours later, the last 2 remaining outstanding. Now, Michael Ashale joins me with what the president has been saying. Michael, tell me, what message did the president deliver to the engineers?
So, most importantly, the president has been impressed with the speed and quality of work that engineers at the Volta River Authority, together with their counterparts from Gridco, have been doing so far. Now, the first port of call was inspecting the damage of that particular switchyard and some of the control units in there. I mean, he came out, and first of all, one of the words he used was a sad situation that has befallen the country. He went on and was also full of praise to the work that VRA has been doing. We heard this from the Minister of Energy himself as well, John Jinapor, about the sort of novel technology and ways that the engineers are using to go around the system and make sure that the units are brought back online. Now, 2 days ago in the evening around 9 p.m. is when we were told that the 4th unit of 6 have been brought online. Since that time until now, all the updates we get, including what has been told to President John Mahama, is that only 4 of those units are still up, and that the engineers are currently working a miracle to bring the last 2 units back online. From there, then the president went into another separate meeting with members of Gridco and also with VRA, where they've also been giving him some more updates. Where we heard that, for instance, the energy minister, John Jinapor, say that despite all the challenges, it appears that the country is able to the generation is able to meet demand, except that in some areas, like what we have already intercepted from or has been communicated from the ECG, is that some areas in the western region and Cobra, where former president comes from, the first president of the land, Nkrumah, also comes from Nkrofo. Some of those areas will be off the entire of today. So in some areas are experiencing some light out, but we are told that the engineers are working around the clock and definitely will be working to bring back the remaining 2 units online. The expectation is that this will ease the erratic power outages that is happening around the country. Right.
Michael, thank you so much for update. The president has been touring, and Michael as well has been giving us a wrap of what's been happening at the tour. You're watching News Today. In other news, for many residents in the Savelugu municipality of the northern region, getting clean water has become a serious daily challenge. Women and children wake up very early each morning and walk long distances just to find water for drinking, cooking, and other household needs. What should be a basic necessity is now affecting health, family life, and local economic activities, as many women spend most of their time searching for water instead of working to support their homes. And Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
In Savelugu municipality, getting clean water is no longer easy for many families. It is now a daily struggle. A resident, Fulera Napari, says the water they collect is not fit for direct use. Access to clean drinking water has deteriorated significantly. The water has become muddy and clay-like, forcing residents to let the sediment settle and attempt basic purification before using it for cooking. Even then, it remains unsafe for consumption. That is the reality for many households. For Abdullahi Asana, a mother of 6, the situation is even more difficult. The need for dredging the dam cannot be overstated. If properly dredged, it could retain water for a longer period, possibly lasting until the next rainy season. However, if nothing is done, it may dry out completely, leaving residents with no source of water, as there is no functioning pipe system to rely on. Experts say the situation is getting worse because of changing weather patterns. Rainfall is no longer reliable. Sometimes it delays, sometimes it ends too early. At the same time, rising temperatures are causing water sources to dry up faster. Associate Professor at the Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies at the University of Ghana, Yao Agyeman-Rawlings, says,
GMET has shown that in many parts of the northern Ghana, the amount of rain that is being received is not the same. In many areas, it's less than they usually get. At the same time, in some places, it's more than what they usually get. And so with that, it means that areas that usually typically should get some amount of rain to farm, they don't get that amount. In some areas, they get a lot, but they are not prepared. What happens in this case also is that because people's timing for the rain has changed, the time that they expect the rain, they don't get it.
As changing weather patterns continue to affect rainfall and increase heat, communities in Savelugu are feeling the impact every day.
This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
A concern is growing over the quality of air residents breathe in Kumasi, as experts warn of rising health risk in the rapidly expanding city. But despite visible signs of pollution, gaps in data continue to limit effective action. And Mohammed Nuruddin again reports from a stakeholder meeting in the city.
In Kumasi, the air people breathe is becoming under increasing scrutiny, from busy roads filled with smoke-emitting vehicles to the burning of waste in communities. Pollution is becoming harder to ignore. At a major stakeholder meeting, the first of its kind in the city, government officials, researchers, and civil society groups gathered to confront the issue and chart a way forward. Country Director for Clean Air Fund, Desmond Appiah, says Kumasi is facing growing pressure. Mr. Appiah explains that while some pollution comes from natural sources like Sahara dust, much of it is driven by human activity, including emissions from vehicles, burning of waste, and smoke from homes.
We know also that there is a natural background of pollution in Ghana because of our nearness to the Sahara. And so there is that background across the whole place. Then there is a type of pollution which is created by human activity, especially transportation, waste burning, household air pollution. And those are the areas that we want to be working with cities. So in terms of where Kumasi sits when it comes to the pollution levels, I think it's similar to cities of this size. The key thing is that a lot of the cities like Kumasi are taking action to be able to drive down the pollution levels. And that is what we want to be working on.
Kumasi's role as a transport hub makes the situation worse. Mr. Appiah highlights the impact of transport emissions.
There's a lot of research that had taken place, and it shows that there's a lot of transport-related pollution. And Kumasi is a transportation hub. Virtually most of the West Africa transportation from Tema goes through Kumasi. And we are aware a lot of these trucks are old. They do have a lot of emissions coming from those vehicles. And we think that there's opportunity, especially when there's the political will, and the citizens are also engaged in this kind of conversation.
He says a major challenge remains the lack of reliable data.
If you look at the whole map of the world and try to see where there's a lot more monitoring, Ghana is really not at the top. And there's a huge gap. Even within Ghana, there's a lot more monitoring going on in Accra than in other centers. EPA have some sensors here. A couple of institutions also have some sensors. But in terms of having a network to give us a clearer picture of the quality of air or real-time quality of air, I think that there's more that can be done.
Ashanti Regional Director for the Environmental Protection Authority, Dr. Jackson Yantachi, says human activities are largely responsible for declining air quality.
God gave us a perfect environment where the composition of air, the percentage of oxygen in the air was 21%. But because of human activities, that what we normally term as anthropogenic factors, they have contributed to the reduction in the concentration of oxygen in the air. And this is mainly due to maybe the way we haphazardly burn biomass. Like instead of using LPG gas, people want to resort to the use of charcoal. And by so doing, they are also clearing the vegetal cover on the surface.
Dr. Yantachi says the authority operates about 6 monitoring devices in the region, not enough for a city the size of Kumasi, adding that plans are underway to expand monitoring systems.
What we are doing is also not enough. So we are the Environmental Protection Authority CEO, Professor Nanama Brown-Kluche, is committed to installing more air samplers or air quality monitors all over the region so that we can actually have empirical data to make an informed decision.
Ashanti Regional Director of Environmental Health, David Opondako, says there are signs of improvement, but warns against complacency.
Looking at the WHO standards that we have and then comparing it to what we have here, I think it's not that bad, because when you look at the presentation that was made, comparing the WHO figures and what we have, it doesn't paint any gloomy picture at all. It means that we are on course. but we have to do more to sustain the gains that we have made, and also to ensure that we move ahead and ensure that the level that we are all praying to reach, we will get there.
For stakeholders in Kumasi, improving air quality will require stronger monitoring, better coordination, and sustained investment. Without that, the city risks confronting a growing problem it cannot fully measure, but one that continues to affect lives. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Today, please stay for some business updates. Michelle is up.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number one, let's bring Baby Girl. Let's bring. He did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
When I was young, I asked my mother the secret of hair vitality and health. She said, the right food, the right exercise, the right amount of sleep, and the right blood tonic. Nescafe Blood Tonic is effective for the treatment of anemia, lack of appetite, and stressful conditions in both adults and children.
Nescafe Blood Tonic, the right family blood tonic. Another quality product from Ernest Chemists. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Many thanks for staying with us. It's time for business. I am Michelle Njokum. And to our first story, IMF has commenced the final program assessment of the country's extended credit facility with the fund. And we've got details in this report.
IMF mission led by its chief, Dr. Ruben Atoyan, together with his team, engaged the finance minister, Dr. Kasiela Tuforsen, governor of the Bank of Ghana, together with other officials of the central bank. This actually represents the first leg of formal meetings between Ghana and the IMF. The finance minister, in his opening remarks at the meeting, noted that government remains focused on sustaining recent economic gain and consolidating the recovery. Dr. Forsen emphasized that the next phase of the program will focus on prioritized policies that unlock private sector growth at scale and economic stability. Some of the areas that the team will focus on is assessing Ghana's overall performance since the 5th review program earlier this year and determine whether delayed targets and structural reforms have been met or are nearing completion. In the fiscal front, attention is expected to be on developments in the energy sector, particularly on structural reforms and debt management.
Well, on youth employment, Africa's youth employment drive is gaining momentum as institutions scale partnerships to bridge the gap between education and the world of work. Now, speaking in an interview at the Employer Kickoff and Networking event, Head of Programs Impact and Partnerships at the African Talent Company, Ahmed Alga, says aligning young people with job opportunities that match their career progression is key to driving business growth and innovation.
African Talent Company, through platforms like Jobberman and Brighter Monday, is deepening collaboration with the MasterCard Foundation to scale youth employment across Africa. Speaking at the Employer Kickoff and Networking event, Head of Programs Impact and Partnership, Ahmed Alga, says the partnership aligns with the Young Africa Work Strategy, targeting millions of dignified job placement, particularly for women and marginalized groups.
Unemployment is really one of the biggest challenges in Africa, and it's one thing that cannot be solved alone. It requires both actors and both state actors and non-state actors to come together to form some sort of collective leadership in addressing, the challenge as unemployment. I think that strategically, our partnership with the MasterCard Foundation is really relevant because there's that strong alignment in understanding what the future holds for young people across Africa. We have a large youth population. We have a lot of young people coming out of universities, but there is that barrier, especially for both women and marginalized groups, that won't enable them reach their true potential because of such barrier. And so our organization, TATC, via Brighter Monday and Jobberman, is to help remove that barrier and provide that systemic growth for youth development across Africa.
At the program level, the MasterCard Foundation Associate Program is using structured internships to ease the transition from school to work while helping businesses tap into emerging talent. Program Coordinator Toluwani Aina explains that the 12-month placement model equips young people with practical experience, career clarity, and financial independence.
The program is designed to bridge the gap between young graduates from the university and the world of work. We find out that it's a bit difficult for young people to get jobs when they come out of school. So this internship of 12 months just gives them a seamless flow into the world of work. That's one. Number two, basically generally around Africa, there's the issue of unemployment. Now this program is also designed to reduce the rate of unemployment across Africa. So we work with these young people, place them on jobs, they're able to stand on their own financially and even academically, even career-wise, right? And the third one I would say is that the program also helps create clarity around what it is they want to do in terms of their careers.
Stakeholders say scaling such partnership and employer-led training models will be critical to reducing unemployment and unlocking Africa's demographic dividend.
And that's how we wrap our business segment here on JN Today. I am Michelle Ajokum, and of course, for more business news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Please stay for sports.
From farm to plate, do you really know what you're eating? Any glitch in the circuit of the food chain can change the price and size of what you eat. Technology has changed the face of farming, but how is Ghana plugging in? Join Jesse Aram Agbakpo, Emmanuel Bright Kweku on the food chain as they project startups in the agri sector, highlight the gains and plight of industry players while engaging with experts for more insights in agri-related issues. Food chain, everything agriculture and more, as during the Joy Business Report every Thursday at 1 p.m. on Joy FM and every Saturday at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel, with a repeat on Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m.
We'll bring you sports now on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. 42 days to the FIFA World Cup. And have you secured your slot here to experience the global sporting festival that will be happening in the USA and Mexico and Canada? If you haven't, walk to Latina Travel and Tour at the Lisa Hotel and secure your package. If you buy a package, it comes with your visa processing fee, your accommodation, flight tickets, as well as exclusive business networking opportunities. There are packages ranging from $3,990 to $7,000. So depending on what your pocket can afford, you go for that package. You can also contact them on 0244-260-789, 0244-260-789. And apart from Latina Travel and Tour, there is March Hospitality Experience, the only FIFA authorized agency who have been given the right to sell match tickets for the semi-final and final of this year's FIFA World Cup. The semi-final matches are happening on July 14 and 15, and the final is on July 19. And if you want to experience the World Cup at this stage, get in touch with March Hospitality Experience on 055-155-11119, 055-155-1119. And also, you can reach them on sales@marchexphospitality.com, sales@marchexphospitality.com, or go to their website, www.marchexphospitality.com. And talking about the World Cup, Ghana would be there. Ghana has been drawn in a group with Panama, England, and Croatia. One man who has played at the FIFA World Cup is Daniel Opari. In an exclusive interview with Joy Sports, he says that Ghana has got the quality to surprise all opponents in the group.
We have talents in the team, incredible ones, fantastic players, you know. But I think we need to build a team.
We don't have a team.
I think we need to build a team. You know,
why don't we have a team? We have talent.
Yeah, because like I said, sometimes you have talent, but you don't have a team.
Yes.
You understand?
And I'm asking, why don't we have a team?
From
where you stand?
You know, I wouldn't want to go deep, but the only thing I can say is that these players, they need to maintain them for a long time, you know, and then don't try to change. They can change it. Maybe if there is an injury. You know, then they can look into it and then bring somebody that thinks that deserve to be there. You understand? That's the only way we can build a team. That if we keep changing players like the way we changing our dresses, then it's not going to help. You understand? Because every time when it's like that, it means that you are breaking the team. You know, they are not coming together. So yeah, we need to keep them. We need to encourage them. You understand? And then put them together for a long time, and then we can build a team. Yeah.
USA, Mexico, Canada. We've been put in a group with Panama, England, Croatia. How do we get out of this group?
It's going to be difficult, but trust me, you know, this football, anything can happen. Like I said, you know, I really believe in these boys. Like the talent, there is no doubt. So they can go out there and really make things happen. They can surprise. Like people will really like look down, like they will really surprise you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it takes an individual to change the whole game. You know, so if they keep up to that mentality, like we are here to play, we are here to win, we are here to build ourselves for the future. Yeah. You know, with that one spirit, you know, I think that they are capable of doing anything. Yeah. You know.
What would be in your head? What do you think would be the ideal capacity of this team? Like, how far do you think they can go if everything works out?
For me, my expectation for them is to get out from the group stage. If we are able to get out from the group stage, we have a good chance to at least win 1 or 2 matches again.
The Black Stars may lack cohesion, but in this studio we have cohesion. Emefa is standing by with the rest of the news.
All footballers sound the same, no matter the language. Why?
I'm gonna. Because they played outside the country.
I get it. Thank you. Anyway, wrapping the bulletin on a very good one. Choosing a Mother's Day gift every year can be a daunting task. And we've discovered many of you still haven't settled on something meaningful and memorable. But here's a little secret. We've been asking your mothers, and here's what they told us.
Actually, I don't expect anything apart from just them praying for me. That's the most important thing for me from them, prayers.
Even when he wake up, he tells me, Mommy, happy Mother's Day, I'm okay.
Just me being on bed and my children come around me. Mommy, happy Mother's Day, we love you as it is. That's even a great joy to me.
I expect some little gifts, then also some, some confirmation and some, motivations. Yeah, so and some prayers.
Well, yeah, it was quite difficult and daunting, but one of such gifts can be a dance with your mother. Perhaps your busy schedule has robbed you of those special bonding moments you once cherished. So why not make time to relive them? And your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, is making this possible at a special event dubbed Mother's Day Out on 9th May 2026. The event will take place at Crown Forest. Just come by the premises, Joy FM, to pick a ticket and make sure that you have your mother a very special Mother's Day celebration. But this is how we wrap the bulletin. My name is Emefa Akosua Adeti. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching.
People look in envy at Rwanda, Malaysia, and Singapore. What it took to get them where they are we prepared to do that? Singapore still has corporal punishment, but all the human rights lawyers are in Ghana though.
When Akufo-Addo was in power, you know how we hold in neck. But there is a new political party in power, a new sheriff in town. I will not be boxed into submission.
No matter how much money you give to a poor mind, they will go back broke.
If I have to sleep with somebody for my rent, sleep with somebody to get a car, sleep with somebody who's going to give me the dress, are you not tired?
Neutrality about journalism is a fallacy. You cannot be a football fanatic and say that you are neither Kotoko or Hearts.
Your mom is in the kitchen and you're like, I have rehearsal, so you won't help mommy cook. We're going to have an audacious sister who doesn't know how to cook. Wow. Oh, no, they cook rice.
And when do children go to school and when don't children go to school? Yeah, bomba. It's the same Columbia classes.
You don't always have to win when it comes to pageants or competitions.
You don't always have to win.
You don't always have to
But
win.
you entered because you wanted to.
Exactly.
When I find somebody saying my boss didn't like me, that's why I left. It's weird because we are constantly looking for very competent workers and we don't want them to leave.
Where do you get this love to give?
That's a very deep one. For some of us, we don't have anybody to confide in. So the next person is the wrong person.
No matter how we feel like we are superstars or we're artists, we're human. I will never be able to please everybody.
My dad left when I was a little younger, but of course, to work for us.
Mine abandoned my mom.
Yeah.
I was not even 1 year old when this happened.
Good afternoon and welcome to the marketplace. Coming up